Do you ever just watch a movie and think, oh god, why?
Why? Why?
How can a movie be this bad? Who allowed this to happen? Don't big blockbuster movies get a lot of attention from theoretically smart people? Do they even care? I mean, they cared enough to give The Last Airbender its very own custom version of the Paramount logo, but unfortunately for all of us, the movie is terrible. My name's Steven, and welcome to Hot Strike. I mean, what can I even say? Bad movies are so much harder to talk about than good ones. With good movies, you can be like, yeah, this part is good, and this other part, it could use some work, but generally, you got something good here. But with bad movies, and especially with a movie like The Last Airbender, my only note is, welp, you should just start over. From the ground up, this movie sucks. And it isn't even one of those movies that's so bad it's good.
Hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Let's just start with the casting and get it out of the way. I'll show an image of a character from the beloved TV show, and then who they decided to cast for the movie. Katara, wrong. Sokka, also wrong. Aang, bald, but still wrong. Even Gran, wrong.
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
Firelord Ozai, this fool isn't scary at all, wrong. General Iroh, wrong, but I do think old Marlboro from War Dogs doesn't get the general mood of Iroh across in his performance.
50-50, what, like 50% we live, 50% we die?
Yes. That's why we drive through night. It's much safer.
The only casting choice I give any merit to is Zuko. Dev Patel is a great actor, and he certainly is trying his best as Zuko. Next, we have to talk about the bending. As a kid, when I watched the show for the first time, I thought it was so cool. Each style of bending had its own personality. My younger brother and I used to argue about which style was best and which one was our favorite. In the movie, the bending gets diluted down to lots of hand motions and kicks accompanied by terrible cinematography and visual effects. Now, I do think the on-set choreography for the bending is decent, and it does match up with the bending shown in the original cartoon for the most part. But the cinematography and the CGI that accompanies this is downright awful, and it takes away the magic of bending. For some reason, this shot of the Earthbenders is super far away, and this whole squad is literally lifting a single rock. As the audience's viewpoint, the camera needs to be in the action.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
These wide shots feel like I'm sitting in the nosebleeds at a baseball stadium. I'm not looking for John Wick quality action moments here, but come on, this has to be better. Get the camera close, make it active, and shoot each form of bending in a unique way. Since each form of bending is special, the way each is shot should have its own flavor. Unfortunately, the casting and visual effects still aren't as bad as the story. The movie attempts to convert the story from the entire first season of the show and cram it into an under 2-hour runtime. Sure, the general story beats are the same, but by taking the overall speed of the story and ramping it up to ludicrous speed,
we're gonna have to go right to ludicrous speed. Ludicrous speed, go!
it loses important character moments for the heroes and the villains. In the show, Firelord Ozai is a looming godlike figure, and we rarely even see his face. We're typically just shown his shadow, and when he is angry, the fire behind him roars. This man is powerful, determined, and dangerous to the world. Now let's look at the all-powerful Firelord and how he is shown in the movie.
Sire, I have good news. As you know, I conducted a raid on the Great Library, which most said didn't even exist.
Get on with it.
I am not joking, this is the first scene he is in. All the movie had to do was copy the show for shot, and they would have a scary and dark villain. But they destroyed his character. He is no longer a mythical figure, he's just a boring older guy. Practically every other character is a shadow of their TV show counterpart, but they truly did my man Ozai dirty. In the show, Katara, Aang, and Sokka go on a journey, and over time they grow to be friends. They learn more about each other, and since they're still growing up, they decide who they want to be in an ever-changing world. Each new episode teaches them life lessons and forces them to grow up. And in the movie, none of that happens. Since it has so much ground to cover, it cheapens moments and in some cases chooses to have Katara just narrate the audience something instead of showing it.
We presented ourselves to the royal court. My brother and the princess became friends right away.
Rather than showing a couple moments between Sokka and Yue that highlight the fact that they are becoming close, Katara just tells us. And there's nothing worse than a movie that just tells the audience info rather than showing it. I mean, that is the whole damn point of movies. Show me something cool, don't just tell me. What once was an epic journey between a group of friends gets transformed into a string of small events that feel like they take place over a period of a week. The passage of time is all over the place, and Katara just randomly providing exposition dumps is stupid. They zip around to every location and somehow each story moment gets made worse. I mean, imagine Imagine if someone took the epicness of Lord of the Rings and made a bad TV show. People would be pissed. Thankfully, that would never happen. Oh, wait, never mind. In the show, Katara gets arrested for bending and is sent to a prison for earthbenders that is in the middle of the ocean on a metal building. Here, out in the water, surrounded by metal, the earthbenders have nothing to bend and are powerless. This makes perfect sense, but in the movie, these earthbenders are just in a normal prison surrounded by dirt and rock, which they could bend if they wanted to. And the reason they aren't bending is because they are sad, I guess? The movie just had to copy the show, and it would have had less plot holes and better locations. I mean, come on, a metal island prison versus this? Way cooler and makes more sense. The movie also manages to pronounce character names and things differently than the original show. For example,
Agni Kai.
Sentenced to an Agni Key duel.
General Iroh.
General Iro.
I'm Aang. Is it okay if you tell me your name? The monks named me Aang.
did they even watch the show originally before they started making this? Bending itself even got some changes that don't make sense. Now, in the movie, it is rare for firebenders to be able to create fire by themselves. While in the show, everyone was just shooting fire from their hands. Now firebenders must have a fire source nearby, which makes it just like waterbending. Fire in the show is deadly because it could come from out of nowhere, but for some reason this was also altered for the worse. The world, characters, storytelling, literally everything is worse than the source material. Straight up copying the show would have resulted in a better outcome, which makes this movie truly terrible. Anytime the movie attempted to do something new or have an idea of its own, it was a worse idea. Every artistic choice of the movie made the world of Avatar The Last Airbender worse. Even the big epic fight scene at the end is messed up. All the main characters just seem to walk from location to location and never seem to be in any real threat. The soldiers are always just fighting around them and not even bothering to attack them. Oh, and don't get me started on this location where the fish are. I'm not sure what effect they're using here to try and make it look dreamy and ethereal, but it looks terrible. This set looks terrible. I love the original show, as well as The Legend of Korra. Both shows are amazing, and it's a shame the movie was so bad. What I find really funny is that the movie attempts to set up a sequel at the end, and I'm sure the plan was to make a single movie for each season of the show, but this movie bombing so hard killed all those plans, which makes The Last Airbender truly stupid. My name's Steven, and this has been Hot Strike. If you have a movie or a TV show you'd like to see a video about, please comment down below. Thanks for watching.